Hello, viewership, and welcome back to the infamous gentleman playing Stronghold, the definitive edition, with I, the Bard.
Me, the Doctor.
And me, the Spurt.
The Spurt. Act 4 for King and Country, the final act of the game. For some reason, it's in 4 acts, that traditional number of acts you split things into.
To be fair, lots of Shakespearean plays are in 5 acts.
Really? I thought they're in 3 usually. Anyway, a hooded stranger. He's giving us the River of Fire to use against Duke Truth, which is the pig. They all have Latin names. The rat is Duke de Puce, the snake is Duke Beauregard, the pig is Duke Truth, and then the wolf is, of course, Duke Volpe.
I say Volpe,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
See, this is the criticism I was talking about off camera, but the game seems to front load lots of really numerous basic units, and it's only laterally that you get lots of the good stuff.
It's like life.
Yeah. I like that it does that. I think that's one of my... It makes for an actual, decent campaign. I think it's one of my big criticisms of the Dawn of War games, is just every mission feels the same, because it's just, you're there with your full set of tech upgrades, fighting enemies in exactly the same way. This, at least, controlling the units you have access to means you can make missions feel meaningfully different.
Yeah, I suppose so, but I feel that they could dole them out just a little bit quicker. You haven't seen any knights yet, we don't have swordsmen, we don't have pikemen, we don't really have siege towers, we don't have circular towers.
We've got the River of Fire, though. So we need to hold... we need to remember this. Our goal here is to acquire 100 stone. We need to hold off the pinks long enough to help the monks get the stone they need and then make your retreat. The swamp is your biggest advantage here, as well as a source of pitch that we can use to build the River of Fire.
I'm excited to see what the River of Fire is.
Oh, it's this stuff here. It's pitch. And we have up here, our archer here is standing on a brazier, which means if we have him attack...
He can set it on fire.
We have fire arrows. So, he can light that when it goes. Please stop firing now, guys. We're done. And we also have monks, which are not a very useful unit. They're like a kind of slightly more sturdy spearmen, but that isn't saying a lot.
And we've got a bad keep.
We've got a very bad keep. Yeah, well, this is a monastery, is all this is.
I see.
But what we have to remember is that our goal is to collect stone, and the only stone mines that are working, quarries as they're alternatively known, are over here. So we need to be ready to take biggest advantage of this. I always have to remember on missions where the goal is to get a resource, you actually kind of need to focus everything on getting that resource.
And as I recall, it's actually quite difficult to quarry things that are outside of your walls because it takes ages for the ox to go over.
Hence why I'm actually bringing more oxes than I am, people. We need a bit of food.
Oxes are better than people.
We've got apples, finally. Apples.
Frozen?
Yes.
Apples are the greatest food source in this, just because there's no processing needed. They produce apples, which you just eat directly. They don't need to go out to be hunted. Cheese is alright, other than the fact that cheese farms are constantly in competition with your tanners for cow usages. So, I take
it you got those are little orchards you have at the back.
Yes,
then.
So these will literally just grow things, and then the farmers just come around, pick up apples, and just take them straight to the granary. It's great.
And then people eat the apples and their teeth rot.
The grasshoppers.
Is that
eat
true?
The food.
Are apples bad?
Well, they're acidic.
Acidic and sugary.
Oh, I love apples.
They're really good sugar. That's the thing that everyone doesn't understand.
I hate them. That's because people keep eating them to keep me away. There we go.
Very hilarious.
I know.
I'm curious to see how the River of Fire is going to work.
It's pretty much what it says on the tin. Oh, lovely.
I'm going to cook you, pig.
Yeah. I think it's called roast gammon or something like that, or streaky bacon is the mission where you actually kill the pig. It's some kind of pig pun, definitely.
Tomato sausages, nice crispy bacon.
What are you doing?
Where's this muster point?
There. So alarmingly close to my quarries, but basically my goal here is just to try and get as much stone out as we can. Come on, guys. Chop chop. Mate. Part of me is almost... I'm not going to do it, but part of me is almost tempted on this level to use bad things because it makes people work faster. And then actually that's advantageous.
As if that's what you need.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, a few mace men. That's fine. That's what the River of Fire is for. What we got here? Oh, we've literally only got basically troops to light the River of Fire, and that's pretty much it. Oh, do you not let me build a fucking wooden barracks? Oh, you gobshite. And unfortunately, I don't want to spend stone on anything because we need that stone. But yeah, we can build pitch ditch here. But these guys hopefully should come straight forward, so let's light the river of fire. Oh no, let's just go for that one.
Oh my days!
You wait for how grisly the animation is when they actually burn.
That's horrifying.
You need some more archers, dude.
I can't.
Oh
shit. Well, we'll be fine.
Oh dear.
Yeah, they make some absolutely fucking blood-curdling screams as they die. It's pretty awful. But yeah, we've got a fairly solid supply of pitch incoming, so I can just continue to build pitch ditches here.
Many more.
Yep, basically. And he's seen enough, frankly. You've essentially seen, napalm being deployed onto the fields of Vietnam, and he's
You also
done.
need those hidden spike boys.
Yeah.
I'll come back. I'll come back with more men.
Again, the issue with them is they cost quite a lot of wood, and there are much better things I can spend wood on.
Here's some wood for you.
Do I have? Oh, I do have access to a marketplace. Well, I'm not going to cheat. Because there's no reason why I can't just, say, for example, sell a load of iron and buy all the stone I need, but that doesn't feel right, so I'm not going to do it.
Okay. I mean, this feels like just a kind of tutorial mission for this is how you use a ring of fire.
I mean, we'll get the stone we need fine. This isn't a difficult mission. We've already got 30 of it, and basically just once we've quarried enough to start filling these ox, that'll
Where are you putting it in the oxes?
So it goes there, and then it goes on either side of the ox. Notice they're on a kind of tether thing.
But why did you say filling the ox?
Well, fill the ox with what they can take.
Ugh. Also, did I get away with oxes?
The old oxes, yes.
Oxen?
Yes.
Is that right?
That is an unusual plural when you think about it, in a lot of ways.
House. Heath. Mouse. Meese.
Jesus for us, Mises. Oh, it doesn't let me buy stone on this. It's not.
Muppets Christmas Carol.
Correct, yes. It's Jeb-proof, turns out, this level. Who knew?
Well, that's good, though.
Yeah, it probably is.
Not that you would be so dishonourable anyway.
No.
I think you want some more men.
I can't build a great deal more men, to be honest, because...
Oh, really?
Everything requires stone.
Yeah, I can build a few more archers, but it's just, it's time. I've got them building... I can make macemen, actually. But,
Make some fucking macemen.
Yeah. Oh, I don't even need to maces. Normally, so a lot of these buildings are dual use, so a Fletcher can make bows or crossbows. A blacksmith, I was used to, by default, they normally make swords, and I have to set it to maces, but obviously, for whatever reason, we can't use them to make swords at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah, the black
I take it swordsmen come later.
Well, certainly when we've got both metal armor and swords. By the time we get to metal armor, the better use is pikemen. Because confusingly, pikes don't need metal; they only need wood.
Of course.
Same as spears, because it just makes them a cheaper unit. But yeah, pikemen are basically just armoured spearmen. And you've seen that spearmen have their disadvantages, but they are just fast and useful in a lot of ways.
And numerous.
Pikemen obviously are a bit slower and a bit more expensive produced for having the metal armour, but they are still fairly light and manoeuvrable.
It's debated, at various points in history, I suppose, especially the medieval periods, just how much of an advantage numbers are, or whether you would rather have well-motivated troops, or sound leadership, or good supply lines.
Oh look, your wizard's out and about.
Is it just the fabric on the cloak that looks a bit wizardy to you?
I mean,
it is quite wizardy.
It's a lot like a wizard. I've still got your wizard suit.
You still got my wizard suit. I wasn't aware that I had a wizard suit. Okay, right, that explains. Wait, why have he got a wizard suit? Why have you got it? A lot of this is very confusing.
She's going to ruin her cloak walking through that swamp.
Yes.
She's literally waist deep in a swamp in her finery. Guys, there's a much faster path which is not... Oh, the pathing in this game can be infuriating sometimes.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Oh no, you're going to have to set your oxen on fire.
Yeah,
those were deer.
No, there's oxen in the river of pitch.
Yeah. We are by your side.
What do the monks do?
They're like shitty spearmen, basically. They're not great. What they are is something which absorbs hits from other things.
No, don't go for the stone.
In fairness, the oxen are out of the way, largely. Oh no. Oh, that ox is going to have a bad time. Oh, there he goes. He got but the other one's made it out, and that's what matters. Right, monks, go. Oh, why? Of course the monks aren't an aggressive stance, because they're fucking monks. And there we go. Yeah, they're not terrible monks.
They did okay there.
They're basically there to just stop the quarry. Basically, because the important thing is the quarries can continue to quarry stone whilst the oxen are away, and then the oxen can come back and reload again. All the time is basically just spent loading up the first ox. Oh, let's River of Fire these guys. Oh, they've got... There we go. Ooh.
Oh, the metal armor.
I fired up with that.
All
I'm
the
a bit
metal
too
armor
soon.
in the world.
Yeah, you killed your guy.
We'll be fine. We'll be fine.
Where is your metal armor now?
Hey, you got through that pretty well, I'll be honest.
Oh, you're in trouble.
The Lord can fight them off. Genuinely. The Lord is a very powerful combat unit.
Can he fight 5, 6 pikemen? Guess we're going to find out.
Yes, he can.
I'm getting. Oh no, does he even have to?
Yeah, he's got to go through a couple of spearmen first. Go on, Lord.
Get him, Lord.
Yeah, he's fine.
He seems to make sure.
He's lost a little bit of health, but the Lord is a very capable combat unit.
As he
You
ought
need a
to
lot
be.
more pitch if you're going to do that again.
Yeah. Well, I've got another 14
We're
pitch
down
already,
to-
yeah. It's just about... I just didn't fire it at the right time there, is the issue. I was too premature on it.
We're now into 1240, 1250 by this game's own chronology, which is interesting because like we keep referring to the fact that for the longest period of human history, like chainmail was the gold standard of armor, and even by 1250, like 1200 years after like the height of the Roman Empire, chainmail is still the best form of armor available. Like they haven't developed plate
And
yet.
plate
It's incredible.
arguably wasn't better, it was just different. Like, if you think of warfare as a rock, paper, scissors kind of thing, plate mail is better in some ways and worse in others. Kind of.
Yeah. So, like, there's a good example of this, just because we keep talking about Roman technology relative to the medieval period. You know the image that most people have of a Roman soldier in the segmented
Yes.
armor? He looks like a kind of metal lobster with, like, overlapping steel
Yeah,
plates
probably not, I'm
on his
guessing.
shoulders.
Lobstered steel was pretty tough to make.
No, like, that's... Well, I don't know if it was lobstered steel, but, like, it's called the segmentata. but
Well,
that
lobstered
armor
is
was
that style for, like, overlapping layers that basically, like, think the classic, like, Nazgul gauntlet that you go...
Or a roof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know the kind of armor I'm talking about. Like, you think gladiator, you think any Roman fiction, the centurion in like his overlapping steel armor, basically. Like that armor was only used. It's called the segmentata, and it was only widely in use for about 100 years
Before firearms.
because it was so.
Oh,
No, well, like, way before firearms, because like this is like the Roman Empire. This is like the 1st century AD is when this armor was
fetch.
popularized.
Doctor,
But
put more
it
on
was
the
only
outside.
no, because this is when we channel them.
But that armor was only used for like 100-year periods, although people think of it and they think of Romans because it looks
Yeah.
cool, but it was so prohibitively expensive to manufacture and so unbelievably heavy to ship across the empire that it was never really massively used
Yeah,
by
plate
legions.
armor's kind of like that in a sense, just because like you didn't have whole legion, like whole armies outfitted in plate armor. You had we kind of talked
No.
about this last time. That you basically had levies, which are essentially just people with farming tools and improvised weapons, and then you had like your kind of standing professional soldiers would have basically been like somewhere between the spearmen and the macemen of this game, and the swordsman.
The Lord's
and the swordsman
household.
would have been rare. Like most people who have got like metal armor and like sword style weapons would have been at the very least minor nobility.
Yeah. So even like hundreds of years later, at the fall of Roman Britain in like the 5th and 6th centuries, most Roman legionnaires are still equipped in chainmail
Yeah.
because it's not that it's better than plate, it's just that it's mass producible. It's far like less expensive. You can ship it across the empire and equip people in it. You can march around in it all day.
Yeah,
long.
I think
It's much more
mobility is
practical
a
than
key
plate armor.
important kind of thing there as well, where it's just like
Is your lord out and about?
he does that. He does wander between all your buildings. It's one of the kind of problems of occasionally having buildings quite far apart is that the Lord tends to go out and visit them to inspect his kingdom. The Lord is the one troop you can't control. Like you can make him
Interesting.
attack, but I can't make him move. Like I cannot tell him where to go. He'll just do his thing.
God's sake.
Oh shit! Whoops.
What?
We had too much food for our granary, so I put us on very high rations, and now we nearly ran out of food. It's fine. We're fine. Don't worry about it. But yeah, bread technically makes a better food chain in the long run, but apples, when you can just plant this many apples, have to be apple orchards only work on like low fertile ground. But here we have a ton of it right next to the granary, so it makes no sense to bother even setting up a supply chain for bread.
I understand it's for like balance reasons that the game only gives you the better food tech later on to stop you from like.
It's not even just better. It is geographically dependent, definitely.
I get that, but it's not like in 1250 everyone was then the apple came to the to the British Isles.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's not, It's not like someone sailed somewhere and came back. Look, guys, I've got an
I think
apple.
apples were French and pears
Yes.
were English.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Oh, I couldn't speak to that. Anyway, the point I was originally trying to make is like by 1250, the gold standard for armor is still chainmail rather than plate.
Yeah.
Although by 1250, we do have great helms. It's like fully enclosed,
Like a
massive
bucket
helmets
kind of thing,
that are like
basically, yeah.
yeah, but exactly bucket helmets, which are I think they're rad. They're my favorite kind of medieval helmet. There was a fashion in tournaments like knights would attach weird things to the top of their great helms to make them distinguishable in melees and in jousts.
That makes sense. We were watching a what's it called, adaptation recently of what's it called, the Henry Shakespeare histories, and what
Henry V, the Henry.
yeah, so it was Richard II, obviously it starts with, and there's two guys jousting
Yes.
in that. One of them's got like a fucking absurd horns on his helmet. I was like, this is ridiculous, but actually, as a kind of fuck you to make a point at a joust, might have been far more of a thing. Yeah. Oh no, the monks have had a shocker. Oh no, they haven't. The monks are the shocker.
That's not fine. The monks are doing pretty well.
Right, let's River of Fire these guys.
Yes.
Oh my days!
Oh, we are going to roast them. War crime time!
Good lord.
Yeah, the screams they make are pretty awful.
I don't feel
Like,
great
yeah,
about
these
that.
guys are walking through the marsh to avoid it. Which does work, but at what cost?
Apparently, while you speak to the horns, there is great debate as to whether knights ever fought in battle with horned helmets.
Yeah, the whole horn
So we
helmet
have-
thing is a real mess. The reason we associate it with Vikings is because the guy who used to design costumes for Richard Wagner really liked the idea of horns and helmets, so put them on all the Norse characters in the ring, and therefore people were like, so Vikings obviously go hand in hand with horn helmets. It's like, no, that was an overzealous costume designer in the 1890s.
I think you'll find it perfectly
It's a
zealous.
particular. I mean, it's a particularly Germanic Northern European thing. So, like, I've got my Teutonic Knights book in front of me, and like there are contemporary etchings, tapestries, paintings, etc., that depict Teutonic knights with horned helmets.
And it's like I can see why, for example, the Ralph Bakshi animated Lord of the Rings puts Boromir in a horned helmet, because that kind of seems to fit with the kind of character they're going for. But it only fits because that's how we've kind of, not in the technical sense, but how we've romanticized it.
Yeah, one of the things that I've read is that either horned helmets were used by medieval knights, so we're talking about knights in the 13th and 14th centuries, that they would have worn horned helmets ceremoniously, so for jousts, for tournaments, so they could be identified.
I mean, it's up there with like feathered plumes and stuff like that, where it's like, it has a bit of a visual impact, but it's got to be, to a certain extent, wildly impractical. The sprite's going to hop in with a Terry Pratchett reference, looking at the look in her face.
Seriously. How the fuck did you know that?
Because you were talking about plume allowances. Yes.
No, specifically, have either of you read Night Watch?
Yes, we both have.
Yes.
Excellent. Do you remember when he's forced to wear the ceremonial plumes and he's disgusted and he's like, I can't wear the plumes, they're completely pointless.
Because Vimes gets a budget basically that he can buy extra plumes.
That's Nobby that gets
like
the plumes allowance.
But plumes were definitely a thing,
yeah.
ceremonially speaking.
Ceremonial, because he has to wear the tights
Not
as
even-
well and he's disgusted.
But the key is ceremonially there.
Yes.
Not even just ceremonial though, because like notoriously Greek and Roman officers would have like plumed helmets.
I guess it is
Like,
important
even
for,
going-
as you say, first off, identifying officers, and frankly, don't forget the importance of a lot of very simple heraldry for just being like, let's see you're having a fight. It's your pikemen versus their pikemen in this kind of terrain. It's like, realistically, you're going to look for the colour or the pattern that isn't your colour or pattern and swing a fucking sword or a spear at it. Like, it's what the Battle of the Bastards in Game of Thrones gets really well. That a lot of it is basically just Jon Snow stalking around a fight, looking for someone who's dressed like the enemy, stabs them in the back because they're there, and then moves on to looking for someone else. It's like, that's how like actual pitched man-to-man fighting probably went back in the day. Was basically like a lot of it was just on, are you dressed like the enemy and I can get an easy slash in at you, I will do that, rather than this like formations and shit like that would have fallen apart pretty easily.
There's a lot of debate as to like the cohesion of infantry formations in medieval warfare. We'll come back to that in just a wee second. But to finish off on the horned helmet, so there's one theory I've read that is that like many knights would have worn horns or decorations on their helmets, but that typically if you were wearing that in battle, which we don't know if they did or not, they were made of paper mache.
Makes sense, yeah. Why would you have like
the idea being like
horns? Like horns, not easy to come by. Not impossible, but not.
No, back then
it's
more
also
common.
like if you,
Yes, but still, it's like
incredibly.
if
heavy.
you're making something that if you're making something that's ceremonial, it's a thing like a fucking parade float
And
or something like that nowadays.
you don't want to be able to be grabbed by it.
Yeah, you want it to detach.
Yeah, exactly. Or even more, like, imagine you've got two big metal horns that go out either side of your head, right? It can turn something which would potentially be a glancing blow off your helmet to a killing stroke in the center of your head if they land it and it bounces off a horn and then kills you.
Or even just like something hits the horns and it jerks your fucking helmet, which your head is in, backwards or something like that.
Yep. Or even then, just the strain of adding an extra like kilo or so to an already very heavy bucket helmet.
I don't know what the weight of a great helmet is off the top of my head, but I imagine it's uncomfortable is what I imagine the weight would be.
Precisely. So they reckon that like if these knights did wear these things in battle in the 13th and 14th centuries, which we don't know that they did, it was possible they were made out of paper mache, meaning that like they could still be identified, but it wouldn't interfere with their fighting ability, and it would explain why there is no real evidence that we have contemporaneously, but that we haven't found these things, right? Because it's made of paper mache, it would have disintegrated long ago.
Yeah.
Just the theory that I read, I am not qualified to weigh in whether it's true or not, just an interesting explanation as to why they might have worn these things, these adornments on their armour.
Oh yeah, adornments are always more practical than you expect.
I think especially when you've got, like, as you say, anyone who's in full plate and a bucket helm is probably not a peasant or even like a levy. They are probably either, at the very least, a professional soldier, if not a minor noble or something like that. They've got money to spare, and they probably want to show off. Like, realistically, it's not 1,000 miles away from today's sports cars and whatnot for, like, this is how you fucking show off. Like, when you see, like...
Oh, really, Doctor? Is a sports car showing off?
I just want to make it clear to the viewer, I am not buying a sports car. I'm still happy with my 2007 Honda Jazz.
2007!
Yes, that car is now 17 years old? Oh, it's old, yeah.
He can't quite drink yet, but...
It's almost old enough to drink. Oh, you give me 1 second.
It's because our previous car was old enough to drink.
Yeah, well, the previous car predated 9/11. But yes,
we talk about this in Lego Star Wars.
But no,
series,
the point the Sprite is making is because we're going to the US soon, so we're driving from San Francisco down to LA, and that's a nice drive, and I'm hiring a sports car because why the fuck not? It's America. Gotta go for a fancy car if you're driving down something like that.
And I can't miss an opportunity to mock the Doctor.
You know what? You can't mock my gigantic penis.
Yeah, I can't mock something that doesn't
Jesus
exist.
Christ.
Oh, that's a different ending screen. Oh, that's because I didn't lose anyone.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's because we went over and above. We got 3 stone extra.
A whole 3.
Yep.
Wow. How's that possible? Because it should end
Because
when
the
you get
game's
to
a bit slow. The ox carries however much it carries, and
When that comes in.
yeah. So I think we're on let's say an ox carries 8, and we're on 95 or something like that. So it goes clunk, 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 clunk.
Okay.
Yeah, we've not seen that little animation before. I think that's because we got a decent score.
Welcome to being a winner, Doctor.
For reference, that guy was wearing plate armor, which would not
Actually,
exist
for reference,
in
that guy
1250.
did have a massive penis.
Not everything is about penis size, Doctor.
He's got a huge codpiece.
And we will hold it there on that.
Horrific.
Well,
note.
certainly on that note, yes. It certainly was a thing that I said.
As if you could possibly hold a penis that big.
Fun fact, the comment about someone having a large codpiece was usually used as a reference that they had a small penis.
Well, yeah, that's what a codpiece is.
Oh, really?
A codpiece is like a dick enlarger.
No, it's to protect you. It's a protective.
Yeah, but yes, it is a protective, but it's like a cup in that having it on will make your knob look bigger. It will look like you've got a bigger bulge, because it's basically an iron bulge.
But it's there to protect you. So someone who has a massive one is probably overcompensating.
I mean,
it's
yeah,
a sports
yeah,
car
yeah.
situation.
Yeah, as we've talked about in previous episodes, people don't change really over time, and it turns out there were probably men with fragile egos 1,000 years ago, just as much as they were today.
Yeah.
On that note, please can we end the episode?
Thank you very much, and good day.
Good day.